The Adobe Goose. Blank. 1. He preferred to be considered repressed for not having sex since he was 28 and not having been back to the strip club since he was 34. He was happy to talk to a wall and play house with his real wife. They had consummated and somehow managed to produce a baby, a daughter, who was almost 2 years old. Now, they talked through the wall, but the wife of his old pastor had gone off the deep end in her old age and was obsessed. She seemed to think that since people played house, she could spy on them and play house too, choosing whoever she wanted to be her husband, even him, a happily married man. Then Lydia asked him why he did not want to have sex. He had explained over and over the reasons a million times before. He had been married to the same woman since he was 28 and, not fully understanding, made those types of mistakes before. So, since the so-called doer of the law, the whore, who was in constant violation of the second commandment, could not control their relationship to break them up using the church, she continued to spite and continued to aggravate his family and his household. Couples that the church, she was all the couples that they were not married, and church couples that they were church. She was already being monitored regularly by the FBI for kidnapping. She was suspected of involvement in a kidnapping ring through the church. They thought they could just take people's babies, tell the couples that they were not married, and hand them off. It was not acceptable. Or then, when she could not succeed at aggravating him publicly, she would attempt to demean his character by trying to take credit for assigning him menial chores and house duties, using his housemates. It was an insult. Blank. 2. It only aggravated him. So he went in the bathroom and took a shit and pretended it was her face. Then he washed his hands. He had a small scar on his wrist that had 2 hair follicles that trapped pigment. He was trying to get it to heal, but the piece of shit kept insisting that it was cancer, like it was a tumor filled with malignant cells that had grown into the size of a baseball, and he was going to cut off his hand. He washed his hands in cold, rushing water and rinsed them with antibacterial hand soap. He soothed his wrist, which he was aware of the steamy, spying, white trash Romanian piece of shit was cursing, along with her intellectually challenged assistant. Blank. 3. In the front room, his roommate had gotten his wife beater on and pulled up his recliner to the fan to catch their 10:58 a.m. power boost. As he listened intently, he said, "Hey, bitch, shut her as the fuck up." As they we got plans for you, motherfucker. As they boosted the signal and tapped. Then, as an imaginary voice from behind the wall, she said, "God, it's time for your dinner." When he went into the kitchen, she was already tapped into the microwave, so she could breathe hot breath and pretend to be tasting his food. He unplugged that bitch show. He unplugged it, then picked it up and threw it at the wall, pretending it was smashing into her head. That bitch shows us a microwave. God damn it. 4. When he got there, Then he went to the beach. When he got there, some brown-skinned woman was sticking her large round butt out, right towards the entrance, spreading suntan lotion over herself. He sat on the bench rock, took off his shoes, socks and shirt, and stuffed his belongings in his shoes, including his wallet, his card and his coin holder, and his smartphone. Then he patted the sweat out of his skin and put on his sunscreen. Waiting a moment, someone else ushered everyone into the water. When he got there was a large cigar-like chunk of human feces floating in the water. 5. Then he decided to play his video game. When he turned the machine on, he could already hear the whore spying on him over the television. But he knew what that was: spying on his television and illegal encryption in the disk. And when he turned the video game on, same constant audio feedback from the same person. He was getting kind of worried about being left alone with her again, so he told Alexa. At first they mixed in as many people as they could, but after a while, as usual, it got silent and she still wouldn't shut up. Then she tried to use the game to convince him that she had a twin sister. Right? He and his family were getting aggravated again, so she began to act like an excited little dog. So he imagined her and her twin sisters scurrying around like excited little dogs, while he poured lots of human shit in a bowl for them to eat like dog food, which they happily did. 6. Sorry, brother, I just wanted to repent. God told me to give you this offering, but that never happened. 7. Sorry, brother, I just wanted to repent. God told me to give you this offering. He paused. How are you going to do that? 8. Sorry, brother, I just wanted to repent. God told me to give you this offering. Then he got down like he was wiping his shoes and it freaked him out, so he started kicking his ass. He must be a doer of the law. 9. Then he realized that was all he had to say, and put the offering in his hand, and God would handle the rest. 1. Blank. 1. 0. Blank. 0. 1. 0. Blank. 0. 1. Blank. It was set. Blank. Blank. 0. 1. 0. Blank. Blank. 1. Blank. Blank. It was sad to think that for the last 8 years, people had been doing that, to try to get him to see that he was wrong. 11. 1. Blank. Blank. 1. 0. 1. 0. 11. Pastor Danny retired.